Hello, everyone. Welcome. These starts get smoother and smoother. I apologize, but we're here. We're ready to start. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We have another exciting, super exciting Elixir Kitchen class for you today. So thank you for joining us. My name is Jeremy Capone. I am the wellness chef, and I am joined, as always, by
Stephanie Gladman, the registered dietitian. Hello.
And today we're super excited to be joined by our director, the director of the Cancer Rehabilitation Survivorship Program, Dr. Jennifer Jones. Thank you for joining us today. Hello.
Hi, my pleasure. This is exciting.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about maybe the program, and what you're going to be making for us today.
Sure, great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
We're
excellent. Good. Okay, so as Jeremy said, my name is Jennifer, and I'm the director of the Cancer Rehabilitation Survivorship Program at Princess Margaret, and I'm also a senior scientist, so I do lots of research as well. And for those of you who don't know our program, we have a big multidisciplinary team that includes a whole bunch of different healthcare providers that are specialists in cancer rehabilitation. And we see patients at Princess Margaret who have been referred to us with identified cancer-related impairments. We have a big focus on getting people moving, eating well, managing stress, all those types of things. And we also have our wonderful Elixir Kitchen, which is being such a success and has such a wide reach, obviously beyond the walls of Princess Margaret, which is amazing. So we can reach people all around the world, and I'm really happy to join you. I'm a huge fan of Elixir Kitchen, and I use lots of the recipes that you guys develop and watch your videos and stuff all the time. I'm a big fan, so excited to be part of it today.
Yeah, well, thank you so much again for joining us. So we wanted to focus today because it's the holidays, because we're in this COVID-related time. Everybody is looking to boost their immune system. And although there is not one specific nutrient that can help, nutrition does play a huge role in helping support a healthy immune system. So we got 3 recipes, and we're going to highlight a few of these ingredients to start. So our first recipe is a kale salad. And there are a few of the ingredients that we're using today that really do focus on supporting that healthy immune system. So I'd like to first talk a little bit about our gut microbiome, okay? And so this is associated with immune system, healthy gut health, and basically there's tons of bacteria that lie in the digestive tract. It starts in the mouth, goes all the way through the stomach into the intestine, and there's a certain part in the lower intestine that specifically has lots of bacteria. And this is known as good bacteria, okay? So you may have heard of those prebiotics and probiotic foods, and these all help support that healthy immune system. So the probiotics are good bacteria that live in the gut, and those come from foods like yogurts and cheeses. But then you also have the prebiotics, and these are the food for the good bacteria. And these include things like garlic and onions. The thing I want to mention is this is great. Now, if someone's immune system is suppressed, the recommendation is actually to not have any probiotics. All right. So always a good thing to talk to your healthcare providers in terms of where you lie. But we're going to take a look at this kale recipe, and I'll let Jennifer kind of take the stage and lead us through. And as she goes through, I'll kind of jump in and highlight some of those specific ingredients that, like I said, like those probiotics, the garlic, that are helping boost the immune system.
So this is one of my family's favorites. I have 3 teenagers, and they still will eat kale and all the yummy, healthy things in this. They like Caesar salad, so it's like a twist on Caesar salad, just making it a bit more healthy for you. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do is, one of the great things about this is that you can make a lot of the things in advance. So I usually make my quinoa in advance, and I always have like a container of quinoa in my fridge. It doesn't keep that long, but I'll make it, at the beginning of the week, and then I have some in my fridge. And so I usually have that ready. Jeremy, I see you have yours.
Yes.
And then in terms of the kale, you have a different type of kale, Jeremy, but yours is a dark one.
We got a little fancy here. So I found two types just so we can show. We have, this is a black kale or kale, and then this is just like a purple kale. Which one do you have?
You can go up a bit. I don't know. I don't even know what kind of kale it is. It's just like regular green kale.
Yeah. No, it looks great.
Okay, so I have a trick with kale. First of all, a couple of things. When I make a kale salad, often if it's just like a regular kale salad, I don't know, I do this thing where I massage my kale to like break it down a bit so it's like a little tastier to eat. With this salad though, I don't find you really have to do that much. So that's good. When I have kale, I just slot, like, you don't want to have this hard stem on it. So usually what I do is I just sort of like run my hand along the stem and the kale just comes off and then you have your stem. Like kind of an easy way to get the kale off the stem. So I just go like that. And then, see, it's super easy. I think you can see on my, you can see on my cutting board here. All right, and then for this recipe, what I like to do is I like to just slice my kale like into like little fine slices, little fine strips of kale. So you can do that. And anyway, I'm going to put this aside for a minute because in the meantime, there's one thing that does have to get popped into the oven. And again, this is something that you could make in advance. And I often do, again, it's just another thing that I just have as sort of something I make weekly and then I have in my cupboard because you can throw it in lots of different recipes. But these are the chickpeas. So usually I just use like canned chickpeas because it's easy. You just strain the chickpeas, rinse them off and dry them out a little bit. And then what I typically do, hopefully you can see here, is I just put a little bit of olive oil on there. And you can put whatever kind of spices you like. I like a little bit of sea salt. And, ooh, that's a lot. Let's do a little pinch of sea salt. And then I personally like, oh, where did it go? I personally like, to put cayenne pepper on mine because it makes them a little spicy. So I throw on my cayenne and then I just give that a little stir. And this is pretty easy because, so you can see, like I've just stirred it up together, a little salt, cayenne pepper, and olive oil, and that's it. And then I'm gonna get my little videographer to follow me over here. I have my oven preheated to 400. And if you wanna just try to show here, please. I just spread out my chickpeas on a baking sheet. Can you see?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Okay, great. On a baking sheet like this. And another thing I like to do is add a little bit of tofu. Nice. So I'll go back to this thing for a minute. So I do the same thing where I just add some like olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper.
Now, Jen, is that firm tofu or using medium? What are you using there?
I like to use like the firmest, like extra firm. Okay. And again, if you have the time, just press it out a little bit to get some of the liquid out. I'm going to throw a little pepper on mine. And I'm going to put a little bit of...
and it's awesome. And I just want to add that, you know, like when we're talking about boosting that healthy immune system, I mean, having lots of vegetables and fruit, you know, whole grains, but also using those lean proteins. So I love that we're using an alternative here to animal-based proteins. So tofu, chickpeas, these are all amazing sources of plant-based proteins that help with recovery. They help in the healing process. They provide us with lots of energy as well. So that's awesome. And, you know, I know some people use, you know, chicken, let's say, in a Caesar salad, but having these plant-based protein options is a really good source. So that looks great, Jennifer.
Okay, then I throw that in the oven, okay? And this is what it looks like when it comes out.
Ooh.
So I already made some earlier. And so I like the chickpea, the tofu baked is really nice. It gets a little bit puffy and like a little crispy. And the nice thing is you can bake them together because they take about the same time. I usually leave them in for about 25 minutes. Also, the chickpeas get like really nice and crunchy. And the idea is that it basically like replaces croutons, which you would put in. So croutons, you still have that crunch of like the chickpeas, and the tofu actually gives a little bit of crunch. But Stephanie, yeah, if you really like chicken or something, you could add chicken or whatever you like on it.
Sure, but that's a great idea. It's like adding different textures to your food can also really help. And this is such a healthy version to that classic Caesar salad recipe. I love it.
Now, Jen, what else do you add these chickpeas to? Because I've been snacking on them all morning. They're delicious.
I know.
What else? Like you can add it to the salad, but have you added it to any other recipes?
I haven't added it to any other recipes. We just eat them like as a snack, like you said. Like we just sort of like pop them in our mouth, and like I'll put them in a bowl on the counter, and like we'll just have them as a little snack, which is tasty. Okay, so I have my bowl here with some kale that I put in already. And I never really measure things. I'm really bad about that kind of stuff. But I just like throw my kale in here with my, my quinoa with my kale. And you can choose like if you want more kale, if you want more quinoa, like however, some people like more of the kale and less of the quinoa. So, and I just try to like mix these together here. I put in a fair amount of quinoa. I'll add in the rest of my kale that I chopped up. And then I like to put in like different colored tomatoes. So I usually have I like some yellow ones and some red ones, and I just slice them in half. I just got little tomato, like cherry tomatoes or any of the nice little ones. In the summer, it's so nice when they're nice and fresh.
Yeah. And the fun fact there is that tomatoes do count as those prebiotic type of foods, right? So these are the food for that good bacteria in your gut, which helps support this healthy immune system.
All right, so here it looks like this, right?
So
and then I'm just gonna throw in usually I just take my parchment and I just throw it all in there. And see, it's all looks like this. And then the only last part we have to do is just make our dressing. And then you just put that on top. So we can make that quickly. So for the dressing, I usually put in, I get Greek yogurt. So, okay, you're not going to believe this dressing because I'm like I love Caesar salad and Caesar salad dressing, but I guess it's not usually that healthy for you because it's got some bad fats in it. So I love this because the Greek yogurt just gives you it doesn't have some of those bad fats, and it's got that protein in it because the Greek protein.
So is this plain? It's not Greek yogurt, right? It's like a regular plain.
No,
Jennifer?
This is Greek yogurt. I use Greek yogurt.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, great, good.
Yeah,
So you're getting even more protein. Good,
yeah, so
good.
It's Greek yogurt, and it's just like plain Greek yogurt, no flavor or anything like that, right? And then it's so funny because I'm looking at my recipe, even though when I make this, I never use a recipe. It was challenging for me, Jeremy, to write a recipe down.
That's okay. We always break our recipes too. We never really measure anything.
Yeah. I was just sort of like, I don't know, taste test it. So I have this little mini blender, like this magic bullet thing that I use. So what I do is I just throw everything into this little thing that attaches to my blender. So first I put in the yogurt, and then I've got a lemon here.
Now I'm gonna be Jennifer. I'm just gonna be whisking this in a bowl. Do you think it's gonna work?
You can totally whisk it in a bowl. Sometimes I just do it in a jar.
Oh yeah.
And then I just like shake it up in the jar.
Yes. You gotta do your best Tom Cruise cocktail impression.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, okay. And then you just throw in your lemon juice. It's supposed to be 2 tablespoons. So I don't know. I think this is probably 2 tablespoons. We'll see. Oh, that's good. And I throw in some of my olive oil. Now this olive oil it's not actually this brand. I buy this big metal container of olive oil from Janet Papadakis and Tina, who has family have olive oil, an olive, I guess, orchard in Greece. And they bring in olive oil every year, and I always buy a big container of it. And so I have the container downstairs, and then I just fill up my little bottle here. So it's delicious.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I say that this is a really, people always ask, like, what type of olive oil should I buy, or what should I cook with? And, we always say that, for cooking purposes, you want one that has a lower or a higher smoke point, right? And those tend to be not as flavorful. But this is such a good reason to bring out those fancy olive oils, the ones that you might pay a little bit more for because of that beautiful taste that you're going to get, because you're not cooking it, you're using it right then and there.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah.
Well, are you adding, Jennifer?
Okay, so I put my olive oil, my lemon juice, my my yogurt, and then I put in I just crush in a couple cloves of garlic. I like a lot of garlic, but if you don't like so much garlic, you can just adjust it however you like. I usually put in like at least 2, maybe sometimes 3 if I'm being like really, feeling like I want it really spicy. So there we go. I got my 2 things of garlic. I usually put in like just a little bit of pepper, and again a little bit of sea salt. Where did I put? Okay, and then you can, if you like, just if you want, you can just add a little bit of Parmesan to this, and also Dijon. So I just get like a Dijon mustard, and again, I'm not measuring anything. I'm sorry. I just put a little bit in there. Dijon gives like just a little bit of a little bit of a extra taste in there. It's quite nice. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to throw in a little bit of Parmesan in here, but I'm also going to put some on top of my salad too.
I love that. That's great.
So there's nothing that's like really bad for you. It's all so good for you,
For sure, and so much good taste. And, again, when we're talking about those probiotic, prebiotic foods that help boost the immune system, you got your yogurt, your garlic, the cheese. And I just do want to remind everyone that if they do have a weakened immune system, that's when you would choose a yogurt without the live cultures from the probiotics.
Great. So I'm going to blend this quickly over here. Sorry.
Say classic Caesar dressing also usually has raw egg yolk in it, so this is actually a really nice alternative where you're not adding any raw ingredients.
All right, easy peasy, and then you just throw it on top.
Looks so good.
So
all right, so, and then give it a little toss. And I do like to add just a tiny bit of Parmesan on top of this. And such great thing about this recipe is, how when you make salads and if you dress it, then you can't eat it the next day because it gets all soggy. But I guess because the kale, it doesn't get soggy. So you can totally eat it for leftovers the next day, which is great. I often do that. We'll have it for dinner, and then if there's any leftovers, I just bring it to work the next day. And it's not soggy at all. It's great.
That's actually a perfect segue, Jennifer. We have a question from YouTube. How long does the dressing last in the fridge?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I think it would last probably at least a week. So I think that it probably could last longer. I might not keep it longer than a week. But yeah, I do that sometimes where I make a batch of it. I also make this other ranch dressing with Greek yogurt, and also so I'll make like a batch of both of those and have them in the fridge for about a week or so, and then I can just throw them into stuff. So yeah, and then it looks like this, like.
Oh yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, and then I'll just throw a little bit of extra Parmesan on top if I want, and there. That's it. So easy.
Beautiful.
Like, and honestly, for us, we eat this as our meal.